getting live over on the Instagram as well. It's so good to see you here. If you're joining me, make sure you enable the comments on StreamYard. So if you're over on the Bold Vocal Facebook page or on the YouTube channel, please click the link that says allow StreamYard to get your comments. If you are on Instagram, this will be easy peasy, lemon squeezy, same as usual. How's everybody feeling? Pandemic life is extending, it seems, right? Beaches opened up and now they are no longer open. It's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. All right, so today I'm getting into some topics that are relevant to where we are, right? There's not a lot of gigs to prepare for. So I don't know how much you guys have been training your voices or working on your craft, working on your music. There's a lot of reasons to just kind of Netflix and chill right now. And if that's what you're doing, good for you. You take a break, right? That's cool. But I want to challenge you to think about a couple things, which is one, all that Netflixing, if you added up all the hours that you were spending chilling on the couch and thought about some alternatives you could do with that time. Now, downtime is important, rest is important, but numbing out, escaping reality, and engaging in these super low vibe activities that last for days and weeks. Hi, Melissa. How much time have you spent doing that? And is it serving you and where you'd like to end up after this pandemic is over, right? So, or after we get to a new version of life post-pandemic. Is it serving you? So one of the things I want to kind of talk about today is we're going to talk about some speaking voice stuff and vocal atrophy and what we can do during this time to like prepare for when live music is a thing again. Okay, so one is your speaking voice. I noticed this the other day because I've been teaching a lot. I've been doing a lot of live stuff. I've been, speaking to a screen a lot. And what I noticed is my voice is starting to feel hoarse, tired, gloopy. Stuff's not functioning like I would like it to. And a lot of that has to do with this screen, right? I'm projecting toward a screen that's giving me no feedback. So if we were on stage, we would have a monitor, you'd have a microphone feed, and it would be blasting your voice back at you. You would hear it. If you were in a studio, you would have these headphones on and it would be a studio monitor, right? So we don't have any feedback loop of the voice. All I can hear is myself in the room right now. And there's something that just happens when we have this screen in front of us where we start talking really loudly and with a lot of effort. And that is a mistake if you're a singer or if you're someone who uses your voice frequently, if you're a teacher or somebody who's on these online meetings all the time. We need to really be careful because you can have beautiful vocal technique when it comes to singing and undo it all in your speaking voice. You can literally just thrash your chords speaking. So I'm doing an okay job of it right now. You can hear a little bit of grit in my voice, a little bit of that vocal fry. In general, we don't want to incorporate that too much into our speech tone. And there's studies that say that even there is voice software out there, if you're applying for a big corporate job, that if it detects a lot of vocal fry in your voice, you automatically won't have your resume pass through the system. It like scans for that because it's been shown that people tend to hear that vocal fry and interpret you in a certain way. They think like you're not as smart. They think they don't take you seriously. They consider you young and not in a good way. So we want to get rid of speaking on the chords like that. We want to not sit on those chords and be very, right? And it doesn't sound pleasant. You hear somebody, you'll start paying attention now and you'll hear it on TV and people will be, and it's really ugly. So today we're kind of talking about taking that up into the mask and using less effort. So we want to support the speaking voice just like you would singing with breath underneath it. You want to place the speaking voice just like you would singing. And you want to kind of try and maintain some semblance of resonance when you're speaking versus just letting the chords do all the work, right? And this sounds not so great. So how do we do that? Let's talk about it. Hi, Marcellus. It's nice to see you. If you're over on the Facebook platform and you're commenting, you need to give StreamYard permission for me to see it. So I would love to hear from you if you have any questions. All right. So speaking voice. This is great for anyone, singers and non-singers alike. You guys are probably talking into a lot of Zoom chat rooms right now, talking on live streams to your family, maybe FaceTime, and we tend to just be really loud. So the first thing is just check in. Are you shouting when you speak? And are you giving a lot of effort? It shouldn't feel very effortful. The second point we want to get to is letting the voice find the right pitch. So you've probably never thought about this ever, maybe in your life, is what pitch am I speaking on, especially if you're not a singer. Why would you think about this? But there's an optimum range in your speech voice that is going to keep you from putting too much work on your vocal mechanism, which will wear it out. It's like friction, right? We don't want to drive your car without oil in it. The pups are very vocal. We don't want to drive your car without oil in it. Same thing. We don't want to just like grind those gears on your vocal mechanism. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to take a siren sigh on an M. This is not my exercise. I borrowed this from Roger Love. He's a pro vocal coach for speakers, and I love his work. So we're going to use one of his exercises today. And you're going to find what's called the money spot. So you're going to ride an M sound, a hum, from the top of your voice down to where it feels the most natural, the most balanced, and you're going to just stop and say the word money. So I'm going to demonstrate. It might take you a few times. It kind of requires that you tap into your intuition a little bit and just listen and feel, like with the mind's eye, what feels balanced, easy, and right. So for me, it's going to look like this. Money. Money. It's right about there. So that's actually even higher than I was speaking a moment ago. It's kind of down here. And really my optimum speaking voice might be up here, which is maybe a whole step higher. And that sounds weird, especially if you've never tried it. It might sound very false to you, or maybe even kind of spacey, ditzy, right? Like, especially women, we tend to hold our voice really low and speak with a lot of authority. If you've ever been in a job, one of my friends here is a chef where you need to be taken seriously in a fast-paced, male-driven environment. You probably use the shit out of your voice and don't even realize that you're pushing that hard on it, right? Because you're trying to sound in charge. Okay, so women, we're always down here. We're always pushing. I can't speak to the male experience of this, but probably there's a lot of situations where you're doing that too. So let's try it together. We're going to take that hum, and right where you kind of sense that the voice is being neutral, just easy, effortless, that's where you want to stop and say the word money. While you do that, I'm going to put these dogs in the bedroom because they're freaking out over some lawn work happening. I don't know, Marcellus. He said that his old vocal coach told the class that James Brown was straining his voice for years. Is that true? I can't speak to that because I don't know that story, but I think many artists strain their voice for years because this work is not available to everyone. First of all, like coaching and all this knowledge and the science we have about the voice now is so up to date. We have these little cameras that go down. We know how everything talks to each other. We know how it talks to the nervous system. We know so much about vocalizing that in James Brown era was really a lot of guesswork because we didn't have the science to back it up. So that's kind of when we used falsetto, chest, and head voice as like those were the boxes you sang in, and there was very little wiggle room. Now we know that there's like you can engage different parts of the voice simultaneously, and we have to engage breath as well as proper settings in here as well as resonance in order to create a balanced sound. So it's likely, yeah, I mean, he did a lot of that wow, right? Like if he was really riding on the chords, and you might be able to go listen to his records and get a sense of that. But I'd say there's probably also some proof in history. If you look up if he was notoriously canceling shows or having any sort of performance issues, that would be an indicator of that as well. I'd love to talk to you, Marcellus. Message me whenever you want, and I would be happy to chat with you. Okay, so let's do that exercise. I'm going to put the dogs away. You're going to take your voice on an M. Money. Mine's right about there. Try it out. Do it a few times if you're not sure. Come on, baby. Great. So what the heck do we do with that, right? What do we do with that after, you've done the exercise and you're like, cool, money, it's right here. What do I do? Yours is going to be different from mine, by the way. It might not be if you have a similar range to me, but it's likely that it's a little different. Well, one reason we use the word money is because it has an M and an N in it. Both of these are very resonant sounds by nature. So if you just go, you can probably feel a little tickle in your lips, right behind your nose. You probably feel a little bit of that vibration happening. That's resonance. That is a picking up of the vibration that is being set out by your vocal cords. The set of data that your vocal cords is producing is being picked up by the surfaces of your face and mirrored, echoed, and projected outward. So we want to rely on the body to help us get into those resonant vocal zones. So money has M and N. Let's try that one. We didn't do that. Can you try that? You feel it's like a little buzz behind the teeth maybe? And if you're feeling it a lot in the throat, try and take that up a little higher. Of course, I'm getting a frog right when I'm talking. Okay. If you take it a little higher, you'll probably feel that buzz right behind the teeth. All right. So these are all resonances that you're experiencing, and we want to start putting that into our speaking voice. So when you check in, if you have a lot of speaking to do, or if you're on the phone, or if you're on, a Zoom call, which we're all doing a lot of these days, check in with your voice. Are you pushing? Is it too low? Is it too much effort? And then kind of do that little check. Money. Now that's resonating right through here. So I'm putting a lot of effort more in my face, okay? So let's try a little exercise singing where you can kind of get a sense of that M and N resonance, okay? So we'll take it from here. We're just gonna go, money, 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 make some money. It's also a good mantra if you're an entrepreneur. Money, 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 make some money, okay? Money, 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 make some money. Money, 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 make some money. And what you can see is I'm kind of leaning into the M and the N a little bit and letting that sort of give me a boost of power rather than focusing on the vowel. So I'm not going money, money. It's money, money, ma. I'm giving those M's and N's a lot of weight, more than you would in regular speech or singing. Money, 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 money. Oops, I said it wrong. Money, 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 make some money. 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 Now let's do that exercise again and see if we can find that balanced spot. Money, money. Yeah, it's right about there. Money, money. Now, Kev, we don't speak like that. We're not going to speak on one tone. I'm not going to talk to you like this all the time. That would be super weird and nobody would listen, right? But you kind of want to find that spot in the voice, check in with it, and make sure you're kind of staying in that zone, right? Because if you find yourself finding vocal fatigue, finding a lot of that, under-energized vocals, under-placed vocals, you're going to put a lot of wear and tear on your instrument. And I wanted to talk about it just because I've been noticing it in my own teaching, talking to a screen a lot these days. So Marcellus over here in Instagram says, I think I ruined my voice years ago, cracking, so I never sing in front of people anymore, LOL, which is like a funny, not funny kind of thing. I see a Jenna over here. Hi, Jenna. So Marcellus, definitely message me. I'll set up a time for you. We can just have a quick Zoom call one-on-one, like a half an hour, and we can kind of talk about that a little bit more in depth. But, and I can't diagnose that perfectly. If you've really had long-term vocal issues, it may be something that is worth getting checked by a doctor. It's always good to get a scope and just make sure. It's a lot less scary than it sounds. It's a little gag reflex involved, but it's really pretty interesting to see what's happening there. There's a possibility that you did do some damage. You can hemorrhage the vocal cords. You can have a polyp, which is kind of like a little blood blister. Those can burst. You can have nodes or nodules, which are the beginning of little calluses from too much wear and tear. So that's what we're talking about here, is like when your voice is down here and you're just kind of talking and you're just under energizing the voice. That little grit you hear in my voice is doing what it sounds like. It's like sandpaper, okay? So if you spend a lot of your life doing stuff like that, or you can have a vocal injury in a cough, in a sneeze, in one pushed note. It doesn't take long. It can happen in an instant, and there's no shame about it. Vocal injury happens to the very, very best of singers in this world, and it doesn't mean anything about you other than it's like if you fell down and skinned your knee. We can patch it up, right? So if there's a long-term thing, that might be worth investigating, but also we could probably just start to train the voice. This actually leads me, Marcellus, beautifully into my next point. And hi, Jenna. I am always so grateful to see you here, Jenna. She's just participates so beautifully in all of the studio stuff, which makes me so happy. Okay, so let's go into, this is one of my favorite headline of, if you're watching on Facebook, it says, if I don't use it, do I lose it? And of course, I'm referring to your singing voice and your speaking voice. And the answer is yes. I mean, no, it does still exist. You obviously can still talk, you can still sing. But what you may have found, and this goes for my pro singers who are doing gigs really regularly, and now we're like cut off, and we're in Netflix land now. So if you were somebody who was doing a lot of vocalizing in your life pre-quarantine, and you've been chilling, good. You deserve a rest. I talked about this at the very beginning. Good for you. It's okay to take time off. There's also a lot of shit to process right now, so it's okay if you're not feeling super motivated. That's normal. I think that's happening a lot. However, your voice is a muscle, and it is a set of coordinations. So it'd be like if you were a dancer for many years and then you just quit dancing for 10 years, let's say. You probably lost some muscle tone in that 10 years. You maybe, lost some flexibility, right? And you could still dance. Like you would go and you would know, hey, this is how I do a Ramajan. I don't remember any of my ballet language, you guys. I'm a terrible dance kid from the Midwest. But whatever. The dance moves, the things you do, point your toe, tendu, these things, right? You, on an intellectual level, would know what they are. You'd probably remember the vocabulary a little better than me if you were a long-term dancer. But being able to physically do them would be much more difficult after stopping for 10 years. So this is kind of the same theory. The vocal system is an athletic system. It is a communication system that needs to stay in balance, and it has flexibility and very, very complicated little minute signals that are coming from the brain and from the gut and that are just in communication. So yeah, if we stop that communication, stop the exercising, we're going to lose some agility, some flexibility, some range, some power. So just know that. And I would say right now that the best way to be training the voice in this time, since we don't have a deadline, although if you want one, I do want to mention that I'm done creating. I'm actually in the middle of getting the sales page ready. There's a course I'm going to do starting probably next week called Living Room Rockstar, which is going to have a live stream performance at the end. So if you're looking for a little bit of a deadline to get your butt into shape and have a reason to go practice, then I'm going to give you one. And you can sign up to do that with me, and we'll be coaching inside a private space and teaching you all about the live streaming technology, teaching you all about the confidence mindset and all the things it takes to go show up and do a show confidently. So if you're interested in that, let me know and I'll get you more details. And that might help if you're feeling unmotivated, just having a little bit of a deadline. I know I won't do anything until I have some sort of reason, right? So, if you don't use it, yes, you do lose it. Not entirely. But let's make sure that during this time, I want you to kind of think forward about what's coming after this. If you're a musician and you were playing gigs regularly before this, all of our gigs might not be there when we come out of this quarantine. And that is a hugely sad fact. And it's taken some time to kind of digest that information and I grieve it regularly knowing that some of my favorite venues are probably going to close, and that there's a ton of musicians that need work and that have no money and that haven't been receiving support, and who are going to be out there vying for the same opportunities that I am, right? So there's going to be less venues and more hungry, motivated artists, which is not great. So this time is the ideal time to work on your chops, to get better, to step up your game a little bit. And there's a really beautiful benefit of the technology and the live streaming that we're being forced to do instead of playing on stages, which is that many of these, including Facebook Live, I don't think Instagram Live does it, Facebook Live, Zoom, and StreamYard, the technology I'm using over on the Facebook side and on the YouTube side, these all record your stuff and they back it up, and you can go find the file later. So if you're practicing and you're playing, you can easily have some promo materials that are done for you. They're just done. They're there. They're waiting. There's video evidence of your talent and of your set and your style. So you can really have this opportunity here to get your ducks in a row for a brand new EPK, a new press kit. We also have some time on our hands to write new music or to learn new songs, update your set, organize your set, right? Like, I looked at our set for Rosa's Cantina the other day, and it's just a hot mess. It's out of order. There's no organization. Some of the songs we don't even do anymore. Some of the songs we need a fiddle player. We don't have a fiddle player in the band anymore. Like, there's just, it's outdated. It needs a tune-up, and now we have this opportunity. So, again, if you're looking for a little bit of structure and guidance through that, Living Room Rockstar is going to be great for you. It's going to start soon. So let me know if you're into that, and we will get you all of those things tuned up in the performance technique. We're going to get you like a training schedule. It's a boot camp style. So you're going to have homework, you're going to have assignments, and you're going to get some things done in this 4 weeks, like a lot of things done. And then we're going to have a show, and you will get that performance to use to help you book future gigs, etc. Or to just take it out and advertise your own live streams. We've been doing great live streaming. We've put a philanthropy aspect into our tipping system, which has been really wonderful. We've been able to raise a lot of money, actually, for some really great causes locally. And also, you know, with me being somewhat out of work, I've got my clients still, but no gigs, right? And no teaching outside of the house. So, you know, it's been able to supplement my income, which has been really lovely and very crucial right now, okay? So we're going to kind of teach you all of these things, and you can empower yourself to do that, and that's coming up. So I'm going to quit talking and get into some singing. We are going to talk about SOVTs. So the best and safest vocal workout you can get is semi-occluded vocal tract exercises. And if you've worked with me, I know I've told you about them because they're a godsend. It's like the safest way to go into the extremes of your range, to push some power through your voice, to make sure you have breath support, and to make sure you don't have tension in your singing. So these are a great way to warm up for speaking as well. If you're over on Facebook or on YouTube, drop me a comment and let me say hello to you. You're welcome, Jenna. It's really always my pleasure to see you. Okay, so let's do some SOVTs. The most common one and probably the most effective is the lip bubble. Not everyone can do it, but I encourage you to try. If you can't do it, it's often because you're doing too much tension. It makes people laugh because it's silly, but if you start to giggle and you engage these smile muscles, it's not going to work. Like, it's too tight. So you have to be really gummy, really loose, and you can kind of shake out your head a little bit. If that doesn't work for you, you could always try a lip roll, or you could try, hi, Mark Robbins. You could also try, oh, you have such a cute pup. Let's do that, lip roll or tongue roll. If you can't, just try a hum. Let's go, we'll go 1-5-1. This is always a nice little slide. Jenna and Mark are like, not again. We're sliding 1-5-1 on a lip roll. I do it every day. Good, we'll make our way down. I'll take it down just a little bit. This time let's work an octave. Let's go a little bit more range. So sliding is one of the key factors here. There's a couple of really great ways to train your voice to stay strong and agile. One of them is to slide up and down in notes. And while that is not always encouraged in performance, it can kind of sound very sloppy if you're sliding around a lot in a song without intention. But in training the voice, it's really helpful because it helps connect the musculature. So the CT muscle, the TA muscle, they can be engaged at the same time, but it's difficult. So using a slide helps do that, and it helps kind of bridge those bumpy spots in the voice. So if you're working over a break, really lean into that slide and let the lip bubble help you stay relaxed, because you can't do it like this either. It has to be soft through here. So we're training the central nervous system to be relaxed. Okay. We'll go from here up to the octave. If this is getting too low, you can jump up the octave here. Okay, so why should we do that, and how we don't sing like that, right? It would be super weird. I'm actually going to ask you to sing like that. So I think if you're working on a song, and maybe you're not because you don't have a deadline or a show right now, but we kind of already talked about that. Maybe pull in a new song to learn, add to your rep, challenge yourself. You've got this time, right? So if you're in a song, especially one that gets tricky in your range, one of my favorite vocal hacks ever is to sing the whole song 3 times back to back on the lip bubble. And another option, let me grab a straw here. This is the same technology. It's a little less itchy on the nose. It's a little bit less silly. Well, that's debatable, I guess. But you could sing the whole thing through a straw. So the one I did often with this is Chandelier by Sia, because that's a song that like mops the floor with my butt when I try to sing it. It kicks my ass. So those songs that are working you out, that are leaving you bled dry at the end of them and exhausted, the straw is going to be a huge thing. Hey, Jackson Price. There's a hell of a voice hanging out. Party Marty. Ben James might still be here. That would be cool. Ben James is a singing and acting friend of mine from high school. We were in the core of the thespian society together. I think we were both like cabinet members, like president, vice president, something like that. It was great. Good times. You're one of the very cool people from high school, Ben James. Okay. So, let's see, Chandelier. I probably won't grab the right key because that key's insanity. But like, let's think about it. So, how's it go? I'll just take it from the pre-chorus because that's what's in my head. So. Now, I don't know how well you could hear that because when I put the straw in, often the mic kind of loses the signal a little bit. But my voice was cracking all over the place in there. It was thin sounding, not great, right? So it's okay because in a practice space and when we're training the voice, you want to get rid of those kind of notions of good and bad and get into the space of just do. Just do. Don't judge it. Don't beat yourself up if it's not right. You can't get to the place where you're singing stuff you love without singing stuff that sounds yucky to begin with. Nobody just hops to being good. That's not how it works. So the straw and the lip bubble work in the same way, which is it creates back pressure on your vocal cords. It creates an ideal open and close rate it also helps relax all this musculature, and it trains your body what it feels like to sing in these uncomfortable areas in your range in a relaxed and healthy way. So if you are struggling and you're losing your voice a lot, or you're just straining to get these high notes, pick up the straw or use the lip bubble, 3 full passes through your tune, and don't judge it. Don't worry about being good or bad. Just get through it. If it's a song that has big musical interludes and you're just standing there for maybe 15 to 30 seconds at a time while there's this epic guitar solo, start to sing over that. Sing over the solo, like, I don't know. I'm not going to be able to pull one off the top of my head, but if there's, you can just sing along with the chord progressions. Just improvise. Just move your voice through the straw or through the lip bubble for, like, let's say 10 to 15 solid minutes. That's usually about a three times through a modern day pop song would usually take up about 10 to 15 minutes. So that's going to give you a very comprehensive warm up and workout. So if you're starting to feel like you're losing your chops, this is a great way to start. And then after you've done that, go ahead and open up the voice and sing again. Sing it big. Get on a microphone. Get out and make some noise. I live in an apartment building. We're quarantined. I'm so sorry to my neighbors, but I'm not willing to let my voice go in order to please the neighbors. They're all doing weird shit in their apartments too. It's pandemic life. So I try to be respectful about ours, but I also need you guys to know that warming up and doing weird things with your voice is part of the process, and you can't be afraid to be heard. You just gotta do. Cool? And after this, you can go rent a private rehearsal room for like $15 an hour. No big deal. All right, let's see if I have anything else for you guys today. So SOVTs we talked about. We talked about money, finding the right speaking voice, and it's going to sound a little higher and a little brighter than you're probably used to singing. Let's talk about, is technology here to stay? Oh, this one is frightening, but also really exciting. I love seeing music. I love seeing musicians out in the world that I haven't seen before, because I don't have to leave my couch to see them. It's pretty cool. Like, I've caught live streams from a bunch of people who I've never seen live. And often, if you're a musician, it's hard to see other musicians live, right? We're busy doing the same thing at the same time. Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday, Sunday brunch. We're all working. We don't get to go and support other people as often as we'd like. And this streaming technology has become very cool to be able to see other people's stuff. So probably a lot of you are itching to get back on a real stage, and I am too, trust me. Oh, I miss singing for people, and I miss feeling live energy. But there is something energetically live about live streaming. People do wonder if it's going to go well. What are you going to say? How's it going to sound? There is that element of surprise. You don't know what's going to happen in a live, and that makes it very scary. So I think a lot of people who maybe aren't really feeling confident yet are avoiding the live stream performance, even though they could easily be making fans, making money, and creating digital content that's reusable, repurposable. So if you haven't been live streaming, I'd love to hear from you in the comments as to why. I'm working on a product that's going to help address some of these things, and this first round, the founding members are going to help me create the actual course content. So if there's stuff you need to know, make sure you tell me, and it'll make it into the course, because I want to make sure I'm answering your questions, not just what I think your questions are. Does that make sense? So why could technology be here to stay? Why would we want to continue to do this even after places open back up? Well, I already mentioned a very sad reality, which is many places might not open back up. And when they do, there's going to be a lot of competition to get in those gigs. Everybody's clamoring for money. Everybody's clamoring for that. They need to scratch that itch to get out on stage and all of that. So I know that it's going to be a little bit of a battle getting back out there. And we right now have this amazing tool on our hands. So I also see people making money this way, and I've made money doing this with the live streams, and I feel really good about it. And I've reached an audience I can't reach when I'm here locally, right? So not only are my musician friends coming to some of the live streams that we're doing because it's not during their same working hours, but I'm able to live stream to my friends back at home, and my parents and my relatives back in the Midwest. My friends and family in Florida have popped on. We have this reach that is now so much bigger than a local venue, even though we treasure our local venues. So I think that live streaming is actually something that's here to stay. I think it's a great platform. I think we can use it. And of course, when real stages are open, maybe we can do both. I think there's a place for both. And honestly, I'm in my late 30s, getting up, going to the club, getting all dressed up, getting drunk. And I mean, those are all optional. Of course, you could go to the club and not be dressed up and not drink and all these things. But in general, a gig looks like that, right? You're going to do the whole full hair, face, and makeup. You're going to get ready and you're going to be out late. Setting something up that I can easily repeat here in my living room and be in the comfort of my own home and still reach an audience. In fact, grow. My audience has grown since we've been doing this, not just relying on live members of an audience, right? So this is convenient. It feels good and I love it. So I think the tech is here to stay. I also think it could be a really good new way to monetize your music. People stopped paying for downloads and stopped paying for MP3s a long time ago when, the Napster revolution happened. And now we have Spotify, $10 a month. You get unlimited plays of every artist in their whole catalog. And we artists don't hardly see a cent. We get a fraction of a cent per play. And most of my songs on Spotify have like less than 1,000 plays. So, I mean, maybe I made a penny in 2 years of having music up there. We're not going to make money that way. So this does lend an opportunity to start making some income as a musician and build your fan base. So I want to see the live stream stay around. I love it. I like being able to watch live music while I sit and have my dinner and have my dogs and my jammies on and I'm cozy and I get this beautiful show and I get to connect with people. So I do think that this is going to stay around. And I think right now is definitely the time to start building some chops. And if you're not comfortable with that live stream technology, if you're not comfortable with the idea of showing up live and seeing yourself on camera and knowing that people on the internet can comment and people on the internet are mean, all of these things are hurdles for sure. So I would love to hear from you. What is holding you back? What are your concerns? What do you not know? What do you not understand? What pisses you off? Let me know and I will try and address those things in the next couple of weeks. And yeah, if you're interested in getting yourself into a prime position when the clubs open back up to be the top of your game, then reach out to me. Let's do some work. I want to get you trained up and out of a boot camp so that when you walk through those doors, you're confident and you've got some great promotional materials and your chops are ready and your set list is ready and you have the pro advantage over everyone else, right? So I want to hear how you guys are practicing. If you're practicing, if you're getting stuck somewhere, definitely reach out to me. And I'm also going to hop off here. But before I do, I actually have one other cool announcement, which is that on the 12th of May, it's not my date, like the date that I'm teaching, I'll have to get back to you on, but there's a summit, a virtual retreat that I'm teaching at, I'm guest teaching at. It's called Rewilding. And the idea is to kind of reconnect with our wild, true, authentic selves that aren't so boxed in by society's expectations and this desperate need for approval that American, especially women, have been trained to do. So it's called the Rewilding Summit. It's hosted by Jenner Linden. I met her at a business conference a few months ago and she's awesome. And it's 2 weeks and 2 summit teachers per day. So in your inbox, it's all free. When you sign up, you get 2 lectures per day. I think 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. Each one has a little bit of homework. There's a private Facebook group. And the whole thing closes at the end of the 2 weeks with a new moon ceremony with setting intentions. It's a really beautifully crafted thing. And some of my own personal mentors are also teaching in it. So that's exciting for me to see that some people that I have invested in learning from are going to be my colleagues in this little endeavor. And what I'm teaching on in that summit is some of the speaking voice stuff we covered today, but I'm actually teaching people how to use a vocal practice in their life to create more cash flow, to unleash your authentic voice in a lot of ways, not just in singing, but in the boardroom, in your emails, in your social media, how to be authentic in your voice, how to cultivate a positive self-image and confidence, and also, I'm leaving out a big one. There's some beautiful points that I'm using a singing technique and explaining and teaching how singing can actually help you tap into these places in your life, even if you're not a singer and you just want to be more authentic, more creative. That's it, creative potential. If you want to be more creative, more confident, more grounded, more profitable, you can introduce a singing routine into your day with the intention of working into those spaces. So Jenner Linden is her name if you want to find her on Facebook, and I'll be posting in my materials about it as well. The whole summit is free, amazing speakers, and there's just like absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain. So Rewilding Summit is coming up. It starts on May 12th. And hey, Jackson, thanks for sticking around, man. I'd love to see you someday in real life. And if you are doing any live streaming or any performing, oh, you moved, didn't you? I won't see you in real life unless I travel, I want to say to Portland. Is that right? I would love to go to Portland. So if that's true, maybe I'll come visit. Yeah, if you're doing any live streaming, I would love to find out when that is and come check you out. And if you're not, I'd love to hear why. Oh, Nashville, even better. Perfect. Well, I hope you're doing well there. And I'm sorry things are really freaking weird. And it's probably off to a bit of a rough start as a musician who recently moved to Nashville with no gigs. So I feel for you, and I would love to see you online. So let me know if I can support you in any way. And yeah. Love you all. I'm going to go ahead and jump off. Wait, I see a comment over here. What do we got? Okay, so Jenna says, I haven't been live streaming yet because it feels uncomfortable and I don't feel prepared. I like the idea of it. Okay, so Jenna, I mean, this is not going to come as a surprise to you. You are my very ideal client, and you and I have this beautiful rapport together. I would definitely recommend you go through the boot camp with me, which I'll start turning the wheels to a finished step here where we can actually do that together shortly. But that will be a course that you can do online with me, and we'll have support for that, and it'll have some deadlines and all the things. And I think this would be perfect for you because you're such a beautiful performer, and the world, you know, the thing that we don't realize is that the world needs us. They want us to perform. We feel like we're being egotistical, putting ourselves out there. We feel like we're there's a lot of sticky situations about putting yourself in a visible light and doing something live and performing and putting yourself out there. It's incredibly vulnerable. But vulnerability changes the game, people. If you don't know that by now, you need to go watch the Brene Brown documentary and get on board with the vulnerability train. You will change your life by taking those risks and knowing that you can be safe and come out on the other side feeling so good. Jackson Price says he did a live stream last night. It's still on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you for the great info. Started the straw exercises a while back from a post of mine. Thank you. I wish I invented them. This is a very popular technique happening right now because it is just so freaking healthy, and it's a really scientifically sound way to train the voice. So great to hear that. I'm happy for you. I'll go check out your live stream from last night. I'll be live streaming this Tuesday night at on Cinco de Mayo for Rosa's Cantina. So we'll be on the Rosa's Cantina Facebook page. We're also going to have some special guests and a raffle, a big giveaway this week. We have Dulaney and Company playing music with us, and Mark Teggio will also be guest performing. So this is going to be a really fun one. Don't miss it. 6:30 p.m. on Rosa's Cantina page on Facebook. I think it's at Rosa's Cantina Band, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see you guys there. I did a lot of talking on this one and not a lot of warm-ups. So if you need a program, let me know and I'll give you a few things you can do. All right. We'll talk soon, friends. Happy Friday. Hope you're staying well.